Greetings, fellow Watford fans. Omar here, and it's time for the Orns Friday focus on Watford versus Blackburn. A game at the Vic tomorrow. Watford are looking to end the winless streak and get back on track in this race for promotion. Although you have to see now that surely they are out of contention for the automatic places with just 16 games left. And yeah, that is a number of games, quite a few games left, quite a lot of season left. But in terms of trying to catch second place Sheffield United, I think that chase is well and truly over. We'll see in the next couple of weeks whether indeed it is. But tomorrow, Watford take on a Blackburn side who've drawn just twice this season in the Championship. One of those two draws came just this past Monday when they drew 0-0 against a Wigan Athletic, a game that Blackburn should have won and just were not clinical enough. Look for Blackburn to be much more clinical tomorrow, though, at the Vic. And this is what Watford will have to watch out for. Watford will have to start this game on the right foot and score first. Because when Watford score first in games, usually they win. Now, of course, that did not happen last time out in the game at Reading, where they played to a frustrating 2-2 draw after being up by 2-0. And that kind of disappointment and frustration, I hope, will fuel Watford tomorrow in front of their home fans. It's going to be an emotional day, a tribute, of course, to the late, great Ollie Phillips from the Watford Observer, and all kinds of other motivations for Watford to get this job done against a Blackburn side just a point behind them in the table and in seventh place. A Blackburn side who have one game in hand on Watford. In fact, the next four Watford opponents, including Blackburn, all have a game in hand on the Hornets, which means that this game tomorrow is an imperative for Watford to win. And the great news for Watford is they'll have a number of players back. Tom Cleverley will return to the side, most likely coming off the bench. It will be the first time that Tom Cleverley has played in the Watford first team in a competitive match since late August. Yes, it's been that long. Welcome back, Tom Cleverley. It would be great to have his leadership in this side because I think this side has lost a lot of leadership this season. And there will also be a bench place for João Pedro. He may well even start in this game. And the other good news is that Ken Sema will be expected to be on the bench as well as Christian Kabasele. So some of the Watford ranks are coming back slowly but surely into this Watford side. And it will be very important to see how some of these veteran players have an effect and acquit themselves tomorrow, having been out for long, long spells, particularly Cleverley himself, who, of course, was named the club captain before the start of this season. Well, Watford are going to have to be clinical in front of goal at home, and while they'll probably get more chances at home than they normally do away from home, Watford will have to make them count. They certainly will, and I think they'll have Martins to thank for that, and also Henrique Arouge, who I think dazzled in his first start for Watford last week, as did Martins, who again is going from strength to strength. It'll be interesting to see how Slaven Bilic lines up this team. Blackburn usually play with a 4-3-2. Well, not usually, but often play with a 4-3-2-1. They've got danger men, of course, in Ben Brereton Diaz, who usually plays on the left-hand side, but can drift in from the left into the central role. And he has got a very sharp eye for goal. And he is certainly someone that Watford will have to watch out for tomorrow. And of course, there's also Bradley Dack, who can also provide a lot of havoc for Blackburn Rovers, a team who, again, you can pretty much predict how they're going to be. They're usually going to win or lose a game. In fact, for the first 25 plus games or so this season, they had either wins or draws. And it's only been recently that they've been either wins or losses. And it's only been recently that they have started to pick up some draws. So Watford will want to avoid a draw, though, tomorrow. They need 3 points against a team who absolutely outclassed them way back near the beginning of the season when Blackburn beat Watford at Ewood Park by a score of 2-0. Watford tomorrow will have to be a lot sharper in front of goal, and that's going to be the key here. Be sharp in front of goal. Be absolutely electric and energetic. Don't move the ball slowly. It's so important that Watford move the ball with confidence tomorrow and move the ball quickly, and that the passing be sharper and more incisive, and that the team is moving well without the ball. I think the key to Watford's success tomorrow, if they are to win this game, is to be able to move well without the ball, to watch your offside, watch the line, look across the line, Ismaila Sarr. Make sure that you are onside. Time your run better. And you and many other Watford players have been in this league long enough to know that you have to watch your lines and you have to be very, very clear about that. I would like to see Ismaila Sarr continue to do the good things that he did last week, behind the ball, in front of the ball, and also remember that he has to watch his line. Very critical there. He is going to have to step that up, as are the rest of the players. I think Arouge certainly is a very sharp figure. I'd like to see Kone get some action tomorrow and get himself back into the mix of things, because, you know, sometimes what happens with players, they may start strong, but if you don't rotate them into the squad, rotate them into the game often enough, they begin to lose confidence and their sharpness is off. So I think that I would like, you know, very important, I think, for Slaven Bilic to play Kone tomorrow, and I hope he does see some action. Adeyemo, coming off the disappointment of the Youth Cup game early in the week against Arsenal, I expect will also be amongst the players as well. So there is some hope for Watford in terms of these players coming back. Imran Louza, hopefully back before the end of this month. That would be absolutely fabulous, because Watford need another anchor there in the midfield. But we'll see how the lineup stacks up tomorrow for Watford. But the same directive from me is come out with passion and fire and come out with a sense of urgency. Watford now are battling for a playoff spot, and there's so many teams in and amongst them who are within literally a point or two of them, and their hated rivals from up the M1 are now 3 points ahead of them. So Watford now have played one more game than many of the teams around them, and so it's absolutely critical for Watford tomorrow to come out with a full head of steam, to be disciplined, unlike last week at the end of the game, and to be very intentional about what they're doing. Play the ball in quickly, move the ball quickly, pass the ball a lot more fluidly and crisply, and be able to establish width on the pitch and have players move without the ball. Instead of the stagnant operation, make sure you move the ball quickly. Make sure you put this Blackburn defense under pressure, and make sure you get in a bunch of good crosses to unsettle that Blackburn defense. Because Blackburn Rovers, if you play slowly, they will just eat you up and they will bog you down. And I'm sure that's going to be one of the plans that John Dahl Thomason has for Watford tomorrow, is to absolutely bog down the middle of the pitch, absolutely make it physical, slow the game down. Watford's strength is when they're moving the ball quickly and passing it sharply, particularly on the counter, but when they're going forward with some intent and putting in crosses, you want to make sure that that Blackburn goalkeeper tomorrow has no rest, that he's always looking to see where this ball is. You want to really give a lot of aerial bombardments and a lot of traffic in front of that Watford, in front of that Blackburn goal. Now, of course, when you go forward, there's a risk that at the back, you leave yourself open. And yes, that happens. But what you need to do is make sure you're able to defend and get back in transition. Very, very important for Watford tomorrow. These are some of the fundamentals that Watford will have to execute tomorrow against the Blackburn side that is looking to be sharper than they were just on Monday. And I think you're going to see a Blackburn side that's much sharper. I also think that you're going to see a Watford side that's very, very hungry, coming off of that 2-2 draw, very disappointing draw against Reading last week. So I think the lads will come in here tomorrow and do a good job against Blackburn and hopefully get some revenge. And I am actually expecting a Watford win tomorrow, coming off the back of what we saw last week against Reading. This has been the Orns Friday Focus.